Hey, and welcome back to RaceViews of Gateway Cup Day 4. So this is the last day of the 2018 Gateway Cup Category 2-3 race. And this is the most technical of the 4 days. It's like a 10-corner crit. There's a chicane in there. There's a couple long straightaways. And on this front stretch, it was a little hill, which guys always love to drill it up. So it's a lot of times where guys get dropped. And as you'll see, I had a terrible start and ended up way in the back. So bad for me, but a good learning experience for you. And as always, we're going to start with a full lap so you can see what the course looks like. But basically, this race, I just want to talk about how to race a technical crit. And it kind of starts before the race actually starts. Like, you want to make sure you get to the gate or wherever you get on the course early so that you're one of the first people to line up, because believe it or not, that position from being the first on the line to, 5 guys back matters a lot. And I wasn't able to move up to the front until about 4 laps to go. So, just having that little bit of discrepancy matters a lot in how much energy you're going to use and how much, just how well you're going to do in the race probably. So again, coming through this section, this was right in front of the Anheuser-Busch factory, or brewery, I guess I should say. And you can see now guys are already, I don't know if he was getting dropped or just sitting up or whatever, but I used my momentum from that little gap to just go through that turn. So you'll see a little bit later, like, if you are at the back, sometimes just leave a little bit of space so you don't have to brake as hard as the other guys in front of you, and you're going to close that gap just by not braking, which is basically the point of why the front is easier, because you don't have to brake into the turns. You can just take the turn, whereas you have this yo-yo effect where guys behind the first guy have to brake a little and the guy behind him has to brake a little bit more, and the time you get to the back, you have to go through that turn at like 12 miles per hour where the guy in front's going through it 20 plus. So basically, you want to be in the front. In a technical crit, you're going to use a lot less energy. It may be harder. You may think it's harder up there because, you aren't getting as much of a draft, but in the long run, it's going to be a lot easier. You can see I'm having to go up to 700-800 watts out of that turn just because I'm in the back and have to sprint out of it. And also guys are drilling it on this downhill, which if you're in the front, you can also control the pace of how you want, sort of. And again, I'm not too worried. You can see that guy in the pink. He has a number on his bike. So I think he actually was doing the pro race. So I know he's strong. He's not going to get dropped. But again, even on this first lap, you have guys letting up gaps go. And I knew this guy was strong, so I'm going to let him, do the work, which is also another tip. If you're, in a race like this and certain guys are strong, let them do the work. Don't pretend you're dying and, have them pull you up and wait a couple seconds to make sure they make the move. So that was your first lap. And come in here for the next lap. This is lap 2 of the race. And tip is just keep your head up. So if you're, on guys' wheels like this, you can see that sometimes they're letting gaps go and you have to close that. So if I didn't have my head up right here and I'm just looking at this guy's wheel, I'm getting gapped and I don't even know it. So make sure you're always looking up ahead, making sure you know where you are in terms of, where the field is. And again, so that was, 2 or 3 times I had to close a gap on the second, third lap of the race, I guess. And that's more energy I have to use because I'm in the back of the race. So I'm having to close all these gaps to make sure I don't get dropped. You'll see coming up in a second, I have to close another gap. So when you're in the back of the race, sometimes it's real hard to move up because you're closing these gaps, and then all your energy to move up is like shot because you have to close the gap, and you don't have that energy or that sprint to make it around guys to move up to the front. But eventually, if enough guys get dropped, you'll be at the front. But that's not how it works. So again, I wasn't able to close this gap like completely because I had to shut down three or so gaps. So I'm just going to have some late braking here and take that turn, and was able to close that down at 0 watts because of that yo-yo effect. And again, keeping my head up again on this third lap now, and guys are getting dropped. This guy's taking on water. Like, dude, there's a huge gap opening up, and probably he was just playing chill, wanted someone else to do the work. But another tip is, if guys do that to you, F them. Do not let them get on your wheel. You'll see later in this video, there was a big gap that opened up, and I just went as hard as I could so that they weren't able to draft off me. Because if they're making me do the work, then screw them. They can do the work and by themselves. I'm not going to help them out. And that's not just being a dick. That's just bike racing. You gotta look out for yourself. And if they're making you do more work, don't give them a free ride back up to the field. And then here we have a crash. So you can see there, everyone moved out to the left. So just be aware of that. Like, if you're in the back, there's going to be crashes that happen, especially in turns. And just look at where the pack is moving and react to that before you get there. And at this point, I'm like, all right, it's time to move up. And these are good sections to move up when everyone's hugging the left side, kind of coasting into the turn. Just hold a little bit of speed and brake a little bit later. Take the inside of that turn, and I moved up a good 10 spots right there without using too much energy. And here you'll see I got to keep my head up here, and I come around to see where everyone's at, and a huge gap opening up. So I just drill it. I'm holding 850 watts. I peaked there around 1100, and I'm just going as hard as I can, so those guys have to do the work themselves. Like, if you're not going to hold the wheel and you're making me do the work, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. I'm not working for you. So again, coming around turn 1, and I would have had energy to move up here, but since I had to make that huge move, I have to just sit in and recover a bit, because otherwise I'm going to get shot out the back again. And then after that move, I was kind of fed up. So this next lap up here, I see some guys sitting up. They're sitting up across the whole road, the field. So they're going kind of slow. So just follow moves up. I didn't get on that wheel as much as I would have liked to, but I was able to follow the move up and just come around that pack and stay towards the front of the race. And once you get up here, though, the trick is you actually have to hold it. So I kind of blew up. You'll see towards the end of this lap, there's some attacks going. And because I had to close all those gaps early on, I think I was a little bit fried. So we have a guy, he ends up pulling off here. And this guy in front of me from Lindenwood kind of surges, probably because there's a guy up the road and he wants to be part of that move. And I really should have just let someone else go ahead of me and have them close this gap, but I didn't. So I ended up shutting this down. I have pulling the whole field behind me. Rookie mistake right here. And once we get up to this hill, we're going so fast right now, and everyone behind me is, going just as fast, and kind of slow down a bit. You could see we were going 34, now we're going 24. So all those guys are using their momentum to just you know, they were in my draft, so they were going a lot easier than I was. So they're using their momentum to move up, and it's kind of pushing me back. So you have, you know, one guy passing me, and then you're going to have, you know, another guy pass me, all because I had to make that giant move. And then another guy passes me. So, like, you can just see, like, it may not seem like a lot because they're going, like, one by one, but now I'm mid-pack again. You know, like, I made that huge effort, and now I'm in mid-pack with, you know, 2 laps to go. So that's kind of how the end of my race went. I got shot at the back, and there was no more opportunities to move up, really, or at least I didn't have the legs to. So at this point, you know, last lap, the race is pretty much over. So it's basically, you know, make sure you stay upright, make sure you just get as best to finish as you can. I think I finished like 20th out of 60 or something like that, 25 maybe, I don't know. But regardless, you can see those guys are already going through that, you know, second to last turn, and I'm in the straightaway still. So there's a big line. You're not going to make up these spots in the last lap, and that's a good tip for a technical crit as well. You have to be in the front with at least 2 to go, and you have to stay there, because if you're not, you're just going to be pack filler in that race. You're not going to make up 20 spots in the last lap when guys are going full gas. Like, it's not going to happen. So hope you guys learned something from this video. Let me know in the comments below what you liked about it, and make sure to do another video like this. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you haven't.